Pleasant good afternoon again. John Verlin, On-Demand Advertising Solutions with another digital marketing update. Got an email from a lady named Suzanne in Lenexa, Kansas, and she was basically saying, I've listened to some of your podcasts. I appreciate your insights, but I've read a lot, talking to friends, and the issues of starting a new business and the failure rate, et cetera, which has me a little bit spooked. I like some of the things you're saying on your podcast, but just wanted to touch base and see if you had any quick suggestions, some things I should do to prevent failure. Oh, boy. We all want that, don't we? Well, Suzanne, I'm going to share with you a little blog post I saw this week, and I'm going to comment on it as well. And that's why I've entitled this post, 8 Reasons Businesses Fail and How to Minimize the Risk. Boy, it's a magic bullet, isn't it? A young man named Matt Ruley, he's a freelance writer, has a blog called we'reallpoorhere.com. I've got it linked on my post there. And he has some good points about some small businesses he started and failed, and he just wanted to kind of look back and say, okay, here's what I did wrong, and maybe you can learn from it. And first said he was going to be a solo taxi driver and didn't have enough money for a new car, and the bank wouldn't loan him anything, and he could have maybe done something else, but he didn't. He just stopped, gave up too soon. He said, well, this isn't going to work, and he gave up. That's his first point. Well, this whole idea of, do you have the mettle to last? A lot of this, Suzanne, goes into the planning stages early on and getting someone like a mentor to assist you. You need feedback. You need professional feedback. You can go to a small business development center. I've got one in the area I live in at a community college. You can talk to someone who's owned a business, ask them if they could be your mentor. Because, everybody's idea is great until you try to sell it. And nothing happens till somebody sells something. So getting the best advice up front, however you do that, through a business class, going to chamber events, talking to members there, networking, however you want to do that, the more information you can get up front, the better, because somebody out there may have done exactly what you're trying to do or similar, and they can say, well, you can't do it this way, try it this way. So you're trying to always learn and get new information, and that's probably why you're listening to this, because you're wanting my 2 bits on my experiences in my business and working with clients as well. So I applaud you for wanting to try to think this, and that's the first step, is look long-term, get as much information as you can, and this will help you not give up, because you're getting information, but you're also going to, he doesn't mention any of this, but it's putting a plan together. One of the points I'm making here on the key podcast takeaways is you have to look long-term and be consistent with your marketing. That long-term view, you can decide that, but it's, what is it, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. If you have a plan, a business plan, and the marketing plan is part of that on how you're going to get the word out about this new product or service, okay? I recently saw a Netflix special with David Letterman interviewing George Clooney, and of course, George Clooney, well-known, but he had a hobby of making tequila, and I guess he got a buddy or a couple friends, and they formed a business called Casa Amigos, and he ended up selling it, I think, to Seagram's or somebody for almost $1 billion. So now he's got an extra $250 million, and he has nothing to do. So how did that happen? I mean, how did he create that? I don't know any of the specifics. Did you have a market already established? Did you just have to go door to door to get it distribution and shelves? But eventually, whatever he did, he had data, and a company bought him. So that's the idea behind your new business, is if you can get enough data, enough followers, I guess, enough revenue, whatever, you may get a buyout. Some company may want to buy you out, or you get somebody to invest to take you to the next level and branch out somehow. So anyway, it's interesting what Matt had to say about his business. So he gave up trying to be a solo taxi driver. next business was his plan B, and that was a beard oil business, because I guess he'd been making his own, and he just said, well, I had the basics right. I created the products, opened a bank account, got a business license, and then he opened a Shopify store. Then he hit a wall, and the wall was marketing. And, people talk about, well, how much should you put into your marketing? 5 to 20%. He said in his case it was 20%. But it was all online. He said a mistake he made was he didn't hit up farmers markets, salons, or barbershops. He just should have been out there hustling, and he didn't. And that's something we need to also consider with an online presence, is you actually have to be out promoting it. However you do that, whether it's traditional advertising, going to chamber events, a farmer's market, whatever, all of this is part of the marketing platform. Nothing is inescapable from each other. Nothing's inclusive. It all works together. And that's always been the case. You'd see a newspaper ad for a new shoe, and then they probably have it in a direct mail piece coming into your home, and then maybe you see a TV ad for it. All marketing works together to influence the customer experience. And that should be the case with your business. That's why having a long-term plan, business plan as well as marketing plan, is important, because you'll spell out the different things you're going to do in marketing. Social media, digital ads maybe, newspaper ads, maybe some TV or radio ads. All of this scheduled at specific times of the month or year. All this is part of your long-term view, because the better you have this thought out, when you do implement it and launch it, you can test, and then you can move on to the next step after you do some tweaking perhaps. But you've got all this planned out in advance through not only customer feedback or prospect feedback or peer or mentor feedback, but this helps put a plan together. That's what I'm getting at. And Matt learned from his beard oil business that he said he was kind of arrogant and just, should have been hustling, didn't really want to get out and do much. But he said, you can be all over social media, message boards. You need to be picky about where you put your marketing dollars. He said he put a blog together, and he said the blogging's the best investment you can make in an online business. And I agree with him for a number of reasons. But, that's huge, because people can refer back to it. But he says two things here. One was AdWords. He spent $200, which wasn't free, and a week later had nothing to show for it, no sales. And looking back, he says, quote, I should have been blogging and promoting on social media, growing followers and working towards becoming an authority. And that brings to his next point. He's saying that to use blogging and message boards effectively, you got to focus on, okay, how's my product going to help you? How can I convince them to care? Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't think your thing can do it, it's not going to be successful. And he says that was foolish on his part. He should have known better, basically. And he also suggests spending marketing cash on influencers. They're kind of the way of the future. Had he tracked down some prominent beardsmen, he said, sent some samples, worked out a healthy professional relationship, perhaps his beard business would be alive today. Well, marketing influencers, he's right. I mean, that's great. It's just hard to get them and costly. It's no different than if you get a TV or radio personality to promote to be in your ad, promote it. You're going to pay them good money for that. You got to have the money. So all that works together. Maybe you build it and get some sales established to make some revenue to work towards getting an influencer to promote your product, because they may have 10 others like yours that are asking them the same thing. So you work towards that. But you've got to engage your prospects because you can lose them as fast as you get them. And then he talks about customer service, how important that is, especially new businesses, and you need to make people happy and all this. And Amazon set the bar on that, folks. I mean, whether we like it or not, people will expect fast, prompt, courteous customer service. And if they don't get it from any size business, they'll be all over that on social media. So basically, he shifted to start his personal blog, writing articles like this one I saw, and started a niche website. He's kind of testing it. He's going to hang in there, he says, which is, I think is great. He's got some good points here, to consider. So I'm going to give you kind of a rehash here. Look long-term, be consistent with your marketing, Suzanne. Establish a business and marketing plan. Work your plan and make minor adjustments along the way. And by having this is just like a roadmap. You can see where you've been, where you've gone, what's worked, what hadn't, and make some adjustments. It may just be a different, slight way you present something. It's what every entrepreneur goes through, to establish their brand and to be successful, and don't give up. Now, the reason for the plan, you're going to look back on this and say, well, we've spent 3 years doing this and I've spent X number of dollars. Okay, you're going to give yourself permission to pull the plug and move on to the next thing. This is one thing that, quote, hasn't worked, you're going to learn from, because you don't want to keep banging your head against the wall if something's not meant to be. There's no market for it. But you want to minimize the risks up front, and one way of doing that is mentors, getting some education perhaps, testing, getting it out there and getting reviews, getting an influencer if possible. And the other point I have here is to strive to get feedback from prospects and customers. They see your business really for what it is, and you need honest feedback. All of us do. You don't want somebody that's going to say, oh, yeah, it looks great. You need honest feedback, because you've got to make those changes. I recently made some changes based on real honest feedback a friend of mine gave me. And you know what? I thought, I need this. I need to hear this, because that's going to help me succeed, just like it would help you. Invest the majority of your time marketing and networking to grow your business. Again, you may have a great product or an idea or service, but if nobody knows about it, who cares? They've got to know. And that's why you've got to spend majority of your energies and dollars in marketing. Because once you get that out there, then you can start getting customers. And Amazon, again, has set the bar on customer service, and we need to be aware of that, because people will expect that. They're used to Amazon. Other companies are implementing the same type of protocols and follow-ups and things like that. Now, while it might be too early to see your idea or hobby as a business early on, prior to getting customers, take it seriously and believe in yourself. You've got to do that, because that's how other people will see you. Are you serious enough about your business to really make it legit, or make it, I don't say legit, but make it valuable to offer value in their eyes? And give yourself a time frame to succeed. And then fold up rather than repeating something that's not working. Okay, so you just have to, with your plan, give yourself permission to move on. And realize that getting your online marketing platform is just the first step in establishing your brand image. Networking, farmers markets, traditional digital media, all of this works together to create success. One isn't inclusive of the other. If you see that infographic I have, it's all part of a media mix of different aspects that work together. John Verlin 12 at AT&T.net is my email. Suzanne, thank you for your question. I hope I answered some of that in this segment, and you can check out ondemandadvertisementsolutions.com, and we'll talk to you again soon.